Hi, I'm Oscar, a tech enthusiast and a content creator passionate about exploring the latest innovations in technology. As the host of Tech Tribe, I dive into discussions on leadership, technology trends, and digital transformation with industry experts, offering insightful conversations that help viewers stay ahead in the ever evolving tech landscape. My goal is to make technology accessible and relatable while highlighting the role of leadership in shaping the future of innovation. So, welcome to the very first episode of Tech Tribe. I'm beyond excited to have you join me in as we kick off this journey in the world of technology, leadership, and innovation. So, today's episode dives into a topic that's more relevant than ever: cybercrime and cybersecurity. We'll be exploring the challenges, risks, and strategies to keep ourselves and our digital lives safe with insights from one of the top experts in the field. Whether you're a tech professional or simply concerned about online safety, this episode is packed with valuable information. Okay? So, thank you for being here on this special launch. Let's jump right into it. He is the division chief of the International Cooperation on Cybercrime of Investigation and Coordination Center. Let me introduce you to Sir Robert S. Pagiak. Hi, sir. Sir.
No, hello, Oscar. Good evening. Good evening also to all those who are participating here in our podcast for tonight.
Answer. So, thank you for accepting my invitation.
Yeah, of course. Anything that I can do to help raise awareness about cybersecurity and cyber crimes, of course, cybercrime prevention, it's always welcome for me. And I really find time to accept invitations like this. I know we've known each other for quite a while in LinkedIn, and it was only last August that we really got to August 29 that we met, or it was August 29 that we met personally at sa Rojas City pa tayo nag-meet of all places. And I'm very, very excited to share my little knowledge about cybersecurity and cybercrime.
So, thank you very much, sir. So, let me ask some questions first about your journey before ka mapunta sa CICC, sir? So, ano bang first, ano bang first yung career?
Okay. Actually, malayo ang career ko before being a part of CICC. And I was a graduate of AP Philosophy and Letters at San Beda College. And I took up Bachelor of Laws for Juris Doctor at San Sebastian College, Conetos Institute of Law. So, simply because of my law background, I have no previous experience before sa mga law offices, 2 law offices before. And then, of course, I also had an experience in the local government unit. I served as one of the executive assistants of former Mayor Herbert Bautista during his first term as Vice Mayor ng Quezon City. So, handpick niya kami ng mga siguro mga 5 or 6 mga former classmates niya from San Beda na tumulong nga sa kanya sa pagiging Vice Mayor. And then, it was in PhilHealth where I stayed for more than 15 years that really opened doors for me. Ito kanina, I was a former member of the National Tech working for the UMIT project. And I owe it to our former President, Dr. Eduardo Banson, when he assigned me to be the project coordinator of PhilHealth for the UMIT project. And my senior vice president at that time, the late Ernesto Beltran, really gave me all the opportunities to really shine. Kasi nga, yun nga, ginawa niya. Actually, ang member dapat doon si SVP Beltran, Sir Ernie. Pero sabi niya, no, Robert, you represent PhilHealth to be the part of the National Technical Work. Then afterwards, I became a part of the National Privacy Commission. During its infancy, kinuha kong Chief of Staff ni former Deputy Commissioner Ivy Patu. So, yun nga. So, initially, sinasama lang niya ako sa mga lectures niya. And then, eventually, sabi niya, Robert, mag-front up ka sa akin. So, initially, front up ako sa mga lectures ni Ma'am Ivy. And then, eventually nga, I became one of the foremost lecturers of data privacy, National Privacy Commission. And then afterwards, after I left the NPC in January 2018, I was hired by the Philippine Statistics Authority to be the project manager of the Philippine Identification System project, which was created for Republic Act 11055. So as a part of the project, as the project manager, I did yung Saturday, radio program namin, PSE, self-release, self-release, basta, every Saturday yun, mga 3 to 4, if I'm not mistaken, I was always at PT before. Ako yun na yung nagbabalita tungkol sa developments about the PhilSys project. Doon nga, ino-launch pala time na yun. And then eventually, I found myself in CICC. So from privacy, data privacy, ngayon nasa cybersecurity and cybercrime prevention ako by virtue of my being a data protection officer and division chief at the cybercrime investigation coordinating. So basically, yung journey ko.
Ano nangyari, sir, from front up sa NPC, sa Privacy Commission, into PhilSys, into cybercrime. So it's somehow connected yung data privacy and cybercrime, no? So I think that's the career path that you were.
Yes. Actually, ang sinasabi ko kulang na lang siguro ako makaharap ng National Telecommunications Commission. Kasi yung tatlo na yun, mga match 8, sila ng PICT. Yes, kaya sabi ko, full circle na talaga. But I'm really thankful na yun nga. I found my niche in the industry, the IT industry. Although, admittedly, I'm not ashamed to admit this, Oscar. I'm a non-tech person. I'm a non-technical person, actually. I did not study information technology kasi at that time, panahon talaga namin, wala pa actually talaga IT information technology way back when I was still at college. And I'm quite, medyo nakikita ako sa kabataan ngayon. I mean, persons like you na talagang medyo na-expose kayo sa IT because you have all the opportunities. Nagkaroon na talaga ng course or subject ng information technology. So I'm really doing a lot of ratings. I'm attending a lot of seminars and conferences about IT, about cybersecurity, about data privacy, just to widen my knowledge on those.
Okay, sir. So, how about nang nakwento ko sa inyo, sir, kanino, nung nag-browse ako sa feed ng CICC, meron ako nabasa about deepfake. So, can you tell us about deepfake and how it would affect the incoming election, and how could the CICC fight those deepfakes today?
Of course, deepfakes. If we mention deepfakes, ito yung mga instances na talagang hindi na natin ma-identify which is fake from the truth. Diba? Hindi na natin, there's a very, very thin line that separates deepfakes from the truth. And pagka ito ang medyo nagkaroon ko ng participation, sasabi natin ganun sa upcoming senatorial elections sa atin is coming 2025 and local elections. Baka magkaroon tayo ng pag-split yung mga tao, patulad natin, tayong mga voters, into voting kung sino ba yung gusto talaga natin iboto. Like for example, with deepfake, pwedeng ang isang medyo hindi naman ganang pagaling na kandidato, pwedeng pagalingin ng mga tao, di ba? Through deepfakes. So, sa amin sa CICC, what we do in trying to counter these deepfakes and other cybercrimes is we're really into a lot of education and awareness training talaga. At a lot of conferences na natin na talaga, they're really asking na, sir, sana magkaroon kayo ng mga educational and information dissemination dito sa akin. In fact, when I attended yung ClickConnex, yung Luzon ICT Convergence Convergence Conference and Exhibition, which was sponsored by NICT at saka DICT. When I discuss who CICC is or what CICC is, and nagbigay ako ng konting pointers on how to keep ourselves online. Very thankful yung mga participants na ganun daw pala. May mga opportunities daw pala na pwede nating identify na ito ay deepfake, ito ay scam, ito ay form of phishing or smishing, yung mga ganun. At sinabi rin namin na kung maging biktima man kayo ng mga ganitong cybercrimes, nandito ang CICC para tutulong. And if you'll allow me, I will just say this, that for cybercrime related concerns, you could call us our hotline po, yung 1326. So meron pong hotline po ang CICC, DICT, NPC at NPC. Rotate to what po yan, ito po 1326. Or kung ayaw nyo po tumawag at medyo nahihiya po kayo pag-usap sa mga ahente po namin, pwede rin po kayo mag-report po sa aming email address at report@cicc.gov.ph. So yun po yung dalawa sa mga pamapakaan na pwede po kayo mag-report po sa CICC. Of course, you could also visit us personally po sa aming po mga opisina dito po sa Roses Avenue po. Ang address po natin ay number 49 Roses, Don Roses Avenue, Barangay Paligsahan, DICT Pagparat, Quezon City.
So thank you po for giving us the contact numbers of the CICC. So for the knowledge of our viewers po, deepfake is matagal na rin siyang meron. No? Nag-start siya doon sa TikTok na video ni Tom Cruise, I think, na merong isang nagbi-video lalaki and napalitan yung mukha, napalitan yung boses. So ganun nangyari kasi ang nanggaling yung deepfake niya sa mga features around the internet. With the use of AI, ipifix mo lang yung mukha ng editor mo doon. Kung gumagamit po ko ng TikTok sa mga viewers natin, di ba, may mga iba't ibang filters doon. Ginagamit yung mukha ni Daniel Padilla, ng iba't ibang artista. That's somehow kind of deepfake. So if your data is around the internet, you could be a victim. Especially those mga tumatakbo senatorial candidates or the senatorial local elections. Yung mga digital footprints po ninyo is around the internet. Pwedeng magamit for misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So for everyone na medyo public sa kanilang mga digital footprints, sa kanilang personal information internet, medyo konting ingat lang po. Na? So, yeah. So aside from that, aside from deepfake, Sir Robert, what are the other threats na natatanggap or threats in the cyberspace na medyo mainit-init na kailangang nire-resolve palagi ng CICC? Meron ba tayong scams? Ano pinakamaraming threats na inyong
Thank you for that. Sa amin pong yung Interagency Response Center namin, that is the response center na sumasagot po sa aming hotline na 1326. The most common na mga cybercrimes na natatanggap po namin yung scams regarding, of course, yung pera po natin. In fact, sa akin personally, at sabi po nag-report sa atin na ito na, just recently, itong last week lang, na 2 or 3 of my friends tumatawag sa atin kasi yun daw Gcash nila na compromise, yun daw kanilang mga hard-earned money nga, yun na nakuha. So scamming, mga scamming activities nga, ganyan. So talagang medyo sinasabi nga namin, medyo mag-ingat talaga tayo if we are being requested for yung mga OTP. Kasi nga sinasabi nga ng mga bangko, hindi naman sila hihingi ng OTP. So pag tayo, isa siguro sa una nating tip yan, pag tayo hihingan ng OTP, hiningan tayo ng ating PIN, yung ating personal identification number. Medyo mag-ingat na po tayo kasi nga po, one banks for that matter, always tell na they will not ask people or their depositors for the OTP or the one-time password na pinapadala po nila. So kaya pagka may sinabi po sila, nakatanggap kayo ng nanalo kayo sa ganitong raffle, pero para po kayo makuha yung premium ninyo, you should click this link. Wag na wag po tayo mag-click ng link na ganyan. Kasi nga po, ito po ay form of scam din po. Scamming activities din po ito. Sinasabi rin po ito ng mga tax in their advisories na they will not send you links where you need to click po itong mga links na to. Kasi nga, ito po talaga are the pathway for scammers, for fraudsters, for hackers na para po magkaroon ng mga papasok po yung inyong mga personal information. Sabi nga po rin kanina ni Sir Oscar tungkol po sa deepfakes, we recently got to learn yung nagpalabas ng video daw, allegedly, ni President BBM, di ba? Yung parang nagsasaya daw siya sa United States. Only to find out na talagang deepfake pala, ginaya lang yung poses niya, nilagay lang yung mukha niya. So, ganun po talaga sabihin na natin masyado ng magaling po talaga yung mga hackers, fraudsters in trying to really mimic yung mga totoong tao na to make it appear na sila po yung gumagawa din sa particular. So let's really be careful about providing our personal information para po hindi tayo maging victim po ng mga cyber.
Yun. So, yun pala ang nangyari dun sa alleged VPN. Yun.
Yes.
So, again, madali lang kasing kumuha ng audio and video ng mga tao ngayon. Ako, personally, I tried recording my video, record my audio. Then, meron lang isang web browser application na paparinig mo yung audio mo doon, i-upload mo yung audio mo doon, then gagayahin na mismo ng web browser yung audio eh. So, that typically the basic idea how deepfakes or other way of giving this information sa mga tao. And when it comes to the other threats, no? Sa mga digital footprints, mag-ingat din talaga po tayo. So, how about, sir, your office, no? The ICC, International...
ICCT.
Yeah.
Yeah, division. Yeah.
Right. Can you tell us something about it? What does it do inside the CICC and how it would help the community?
Yeah, the International Cooperation on Cybercrime Division is the division tasked to create mga international relations with other countries na kasama, partner natin into cybercrimes or cybersecurity. In fact, I'm very grateful na ever since I became the division chief of that division, yung International Cooperation on Cybercrime, I've always been kumbaga tinutulungan ako ever since nung aking director, si Ma'am Tupap or Mary Rose Magsaysay, who now serves as our Deputy Executive Director. Talagang medyo nagkasama kami before sa Ovinia during the ITU, International Telecommunications Union conference, where countries will really showcase kung ano na yung mga naging mga achievements natin in the field of IT para maging member tayo ng ITU. And I'm very excited that sa ITU ng 2022 na yun, na-elect nga talaga ang Philippines to as headed by DICT Secretary Ivan Uy. Talaga natin ang DICT at PCCICC, National Telecommunications Commission. Kami talaga yung nag-market ng the country of the Philippines para maging member siya at yun natin member kami. So nagkasama kami doon ni Deputy Commissioner, Deputy Executive Director Mary Rose Magsaysay. So those tapos pwede rin yung gawa ng mga relations with UN, United Nations. Yeah, kami nagre-represent yung division nagre-represent sa mga United Nations sa mga activities, lalo na yung mga pagkapi kailangan official stand ng country. So kunyari, I'm not saying we're to the discussion of the West Philippine Sea, pero kunyari, part na siya ng into cybercrime na talaga, isa ang CICC na particularly may division sa hinihinga ng inputs as to ano talaga yung mga talking points na gustong gawin ng Philippines as far as international relations. So, yun po yung ginagawa ng division.
Okay, so when it comes to West Philippine Sea, medyo layo-layo muna tayo dyan. Nabigyan tayo usapan na yan.
Yes.
That's the role of ICC or CICC, when it comes to international communications, So how about, sir, when it comes to leadership? You are the division chief of your division. Is there any pressure?
Yeah, of course, there's pressure kasi nga, of course, I'm the representing CICC internationally. Well, of course, hindi naman ako lang isa. If ever I attend international conferences, either kasama mo yung executive director namin sa Adler Ramos or si Ma'am Mary Rose Magsaysay as the deputy executive directors, or kung sino man yung director, si Director Alvin Navarro, who is the director for the Cybercrime Policy Class and Coordination Office. Yung office na yon, doon po nakapasok yung ICCT, yung International Cooperation Cybercrime Division. May pressure because, of course, people will look at me as the official representative, diba? Not only of CICC, but the Philippine country, the country of Philippines nga. So, kumbaga, ang dami kong dapat na medyo ingatan. Like, for example, pagka syempre sa meetings namin ng International Telecommunications Union, just like recently, nagkaroon kami, nag-host ang Manila, Philippines ng Interpol Conference. Actually, they called it a technical working group ng mga heads of units ng mga cybercrime countries, different countries into cybercrime or cybersecurity. Yun nga, nag-host nga ang CICC together with the PCTC or the Philippine Center for Transnational Crimes, and we hosted a number of countries na mga delegates nila. In fact, I was the one mandated by our executive director to oversee the arrival and the departure of the delegates. So I was there Sunday to September 15, kasi first wave ng delegates dumating ng September 15. I was there as early as mga 1 p.m. kasi yun yung expected na first arrival ng first batch. And then yung uling batch na dumating was 11:30 in the evening. So nakauwi ako sa bahay talaga 1:30 na ng umaga, the following day na. So ganun. So that's part also of establishing international relations. Yun nga. So nakausap ko yung pinaka-head mismo nung Interpol sa kanila, who happens to be Filipino, si Angelo Trias. He was the head of the delegations. So nagkaroon kami ng conference sa New World Makati Hotel September 17, 18, and 19. And then, yun nga, when I was there on September 17, kahit na wala pa ako, halos natulog-tulog to na 2 days kasi nga, I oversaw the arrival of the delegates. Tuwa si Angelo when he saw me, sabi niya, at least you're able to attend this conference. At sabi ko nga, yun nga, I was the one really looking after their welfare sa pagkain nila, dun sa mga technical things na kailangan nila during the conference, mga ganun. So talagang I oversaw that. People might think ginagawa pa ng division chief yan or whatever, pero sabi ko, hindi ko na iniintindihan eh. Ang iniintindi ko is to create a good image for the Philippines, diba? For the Philippines, na ganito tayo mag-alaga ng mga foreign guests natin. And in fact, after the conference, I received a Viber message from Angelo Trias, really thanking me na talagang naging pag-aalaga ko sa kanila sa paghahatid, nung umalis na sila or nung arrival nila, paghahatid sa hotel, sa mga kung saan sila mga nakapilit. So that's really part of what I do to really build our international relations with other countries.
Okay. So when it comes to international relations, meron bang time na imbis na harmonious relationship ang mangyari, nagkaroon pa ng conflict? Nangyari na ba yun?
Well, personally sa akin, wala pa naman. Pero of course, expected yan. May mga mangyayari talagang ganyan. Pero yun nga, as far as I'm concerned, in my almost 3 years, part ako ng CICC as the division chief of the ICCT, the International Cooperation Cybercrime Division. I haven't had any experience na sa halit na mag-build ng relations and naging cuts pa yung pagiging division chief po or yung CICC na participation. Wala pa naman. Na talagang naipapakita ko naman yung good side ng Philippines pagdating sa building international relations with other countries.
Okay. So, siguro sa ibang mga offices, baka meron. Yung talagang...
Yes.
Pero yes. When it comes to CICC, you're truly building a good rapport with other countries, no? So, sir, balik dun sa may report, may sinusulit ako dito questions eh. Ano ba ang mga steps? Kasi before, na-experience namin dito sa aming office na meron kasing 3 or 5 employees na nagpunta sa amin, na-scam sila. So sabi nila sa amin, sir, paano bang gagawin namin? Punta ba kami ng PNP? Punta ba kami ng Cabanatuan to file an NBI report? Or punta ba kami ng CICC? Alam din nila yung CICC eh. So, ano bang pinaka-best way to report? Pwede ba silang direct? Ganon sa inyo? Or meron bang step-by-step dyan?
Yeah. Actually, let's admit it, nauna ang PNP, Anti-Cybercrime Group, at saka yung NBI, Anti-Cybercrime Division nila sa creation ng CICC. But then, mandate kasi ng CICC is to really accept all itong mga complaints reports of cybercrimes and mga issues of cybersecurity. Notwithstanding also the existence of the Cybersecurity Bureau of the DICT, hindi na naman kami nagkakaroon ng conflict kasi kami nga yung nagtatry na ma-prevent yung cybercrimes. ang Cybersecurity Bureau ng DICT should na after kumbaga kung may na-breach sila dun sila papasok. So kami before, yung Cybersecurity Bureau is after. So talagang ginagawa lang namin dyan is for victims of cybercrimes or scams, you just report it nga through 1326. May mga kausap nga po kayo doon ng mga ahente po ng CICC. Mga tao po yan hindi po yan recorded na sasagot sa inyo. Tao po yung mga kausap ninyo. Yes, so hindi po ito mga chatbots. Mga tao po talaga, i-guide po kayo, may mga hihigit lang po konting personal information ninyo. Tsaka po syempre yung description po ano po yung nangyari, kung paano kayo na-scan, paano kayo naging victim ng cybercrimes. Ganun po. And then, afterwards po, ito po ay i-refer po namin doon po sa concert section. Kasi po, within CICC, meron po kami mga different sections na paano na nagka-cater to sa different forms of cybercrimes. Like, pagka po yan ay mga Facebook accounts na naka-compromise, meron po kami tinatawag na SOCMED section. Social media section, yes. Pagka po mga cryptocurrency or yung mga international mga crimes, meron nga kami tinatawag na yung sa section din that will happen yung mga cryptocurrency complaints, mga ganyan po. Kung hindi naman po related sa mga ganon, pwede nga po sa Globe, yung sa GCash, mga ganyan. So, nakikipag-coordinate din po kami naman afterwards pagka nakapag-report na kayo sa amin, either 1326 or sa email address na report@cicc.gov.ph. We also coordinate with both PNP, ACG, Anti-Cybercrime Group, o kaya yung NBI, Anti-Cybercrime Division, para nga po malaman talaga namin yung kung kanino talaga lang maibabato po yung kaso. So, ganun po. You could go directly to us. You could report directly to CICC. Kami na po yung tutulong po sa inyo kung saan po namin eventually ibabato po yung kaso. In fact, I'm quite, medyo, huwag nyo na po sabihin, nagyayapang lang po ako, pero in my more than 2 years na po as part of CICC, at sabi ko na rin po medyo natulungan ng mga complainants po, like, hindi po sa pagmamayabang yung pong ating artista na si Lloyd Samartino. He called me up before, last year po ito, 2022, he called me up na may nang-i-scam nga daw sa kanya, nanggagaling pa nga actually daw sa Davao. Baka police pa ng Davao, yes, so sinasabi, siya daw ay part ng isang drug syndicate, yung mga ganyan. So, ang ginawa niya, nag-report sa amin kasi nga, nakilala ko yung pizza niya in one of the conferences that I attended, ni-refer niya kami, at yun, true enough, after a while, natulungan namin talaga siya, and he was thanking us profusely na natulungan nga namin siya. May mga members ng NICT, National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, na lumalapit din po sa amin. Sa akin personally, sa akin lumalapit, ikinaguide ko nga sila at pinapag-report sila sa aming Interagency Response Center. At yun nga, natutulungan daw namin sila. In fact, kilala mo, si Tita Teresita Liapres ng NICT. Medyo may edad na, pero IT.
Yung Cavite yata siya, sir.
Yes, sa Cavite, yes. At saka treasurer siya ng NICT. Nung mag-report siya sa amin, siguro after, wala pa yata 1 week, natulungan daw namin agad siya. Kaya nung nag-meet kami personally, talaga sabi niya, Robert, I'm very thankful na natulungan namin kayo. So yun nga, for reporting purposes, you could go directly to us. You could call directly 1326 or you could email na po yung report@cicc.gov.ph or personal po kayo pupunta sa amin po. So ganun po. Po makapag-report po kayo na mga complaints regarding cybercrimes.
So yung marami pong divisions and sections in government agencies na pwedeng pag-reportan when it comes to ICT crimes. No?
Yes.
Baka ang alam ng mga kasama natin dito is naka-globe lang tayo, scams lang, no? Like what Sir Robert said, no? Meron din tayong cryptocurrencies, napaka-wide po ng cyber domain, napakaluwang yan. So we cannot just sabihin na cybercrime lang naman is yung mga scam, phishing. No, hindi.
Yes.
No. Napakahirap po ng cybercrime. Napakahirap yan. It's not just may tumawag, scam, no? Napakabigat po ng trabaho ng cybercrimes investigations, no? Especially sa international relations. At the same time, yung community assistance, lahat po yan is kinikater nila. Konting questions na lang, what are the common mistakes na gagawa ng mga tao, pinaka-basic na dapat nilang iwasan para hindi
of course,
mabiktima?
yes. Of course, ako personally, ito ginagawa ko. Pag kami tumatawag sa inyo, na number lang siya, at hindi nyo siya kilala, huwag nyo siyang sagutin. Kasi ang thinking ko, ganito, kunyari tumatawag sa akin si Oscar, pero hindi pa naka-register yung number niya. Pag hindi ko yung sinagot at ka-importante yung tawag, magte-text si Oscar sa akin, sasabihin sa akin ni Oscar, Sir Robert, this is Oscar Oganisa from, ganito, from Nueva Ecija. Can I call? Kasi ako ganun din ang ginagawa ko. Kung tatawag ko kay Oscar, hindi naka-register yung number ko, hindi niya sinagot, magte-text ako. Just to show, papakilala, para may ipakita na mahalaga yung tawag na yun, di ba? So that's one. Pag hindi nyo kilala yung number, huwag nyo sagutin. Second, sabi ko nga po kanina, pag may nag-send sa inyo ng links, either through email or SMS, short messaging system po, yung mga text message po, link for you to click na dahil daw nanalo kayo ng ganitong premium, ganito, ganyan. Or basta, meron daw may sinasabi sa inyo mga free na sasalihan daw kayo, don't click those links. Kasi nga, sabi nga nila, wala na pong free ngayon. Eh, pag sinabi pong free, ang bayad po niyan ay ating personal information. Yes, kaya ingatan po natin ang ating personal information. So yan po, pangalawa nga, don't click links na medyo delikado. Third is, wag po natin ibibigay nga yung ating OTP. Marami po. At saka po, tingnan po mismo natin yung mga nagpapadala po ng email po sa atin. Pwede po kasing nagpadala sa atin bdo.com.ph. Pero yung pong isang letra po sa bdo.com.ph, iba po pagkakasulat. Pwedeng cursive, di ba? Cursive yung pagkakasulat. Yes. Parang po yung sa long hand, basta katulad po na ng pagka po nagpadala, kunyari ang Metrobank, yung sa bank po nila, ang usually ganun. Yung pong merong tail, kumbaga, di ba? So, pero baka nakalagay ito ng A nila, yung pag ano naman. Yes, nakukuha ba, Oscar? Anyway, basta ganun, tingnan po natin, kasi pag ganyan po, scammer din po yan. Marami po tayo actually red flags on how to identify scams nga po yung mga natatanggap po natin. Pero ito nga po yung mga pinaka-basic. If you don't know the number, don't answer it. If you receive links either sa email or sa SMS, don't click those links. Tapos pag hiningat po sa atin, hiningin sa atin OTP, don't provide our OTP because banks and other financial institutions will not require us to divulge our OTP. At tingnan nga rin po natin yung mga centers. Like, ako po personally, I get to receive emails allegedly from bdo.com.ph, pero biglang yung pag tinignan ko po yung pinanggalingan, sa India nang galing. Yun, yung email. So sabi ko, bdo.com.ph tapos India. So diba, mag-isip tayo. So pwede red flag po natin to. So these are just some of the tips that I could give you in identifying scams and other forms of mga phishing expeditions po na ginagawa para makakuha ng ating personal information.
Yeah. So para malinaw sa ating mga audience, yung sinasabi ni Sir sa may email, yung mga font styles.
Yung styles, yes.
Pagka yung is yung parang pambata, yun, tapos yung isa is yung medyo may tail, medyo kabahan ka na. Though they are both letter A, pero iba yung appearance.
Yes.
Yun. Pero pag chinek nyo yung drop down doon, iba pala yung pinanggalingan, iba pala yung details. So doon, yun ang medyo dapat tignan natin. Yung mga hindi gaano ka-technical, baka hindi mapansin. So mga technical people dyan na talagang napansin nila, iba yung font style nitong A na to sa Metrobank. So yun ang medyo, kung hindi talaga sanay yung mga tao na tumingin sa mga emails, baka pwede mabibiktima kayo. No? So yeah, before, naisip ko lang yung AI, sir, sa AI. How AI helps CICC?
Actually, hindi pa naman kami ganun nag-a-adapt pa ng AI at CICC, but we're looking into it. In fact, yung aming MIS team, Management Information System team, are already they're looking into it already, AI. Pero I'm just, sasabihin ko lang, kasi 2 days ago lang, nung September 26, I don't know kung nakita mo na sa post ko, Oscar, I was invited by the Asian Banker. Yun nga, so dun sa Shangri-La Fort, I was part of a panel that discussed about AI, yung hyper-personalization, AI in relation to hyper-personalization, to fintech, and to tokenization. And ang sabi ko nga doon, kung gagamitin lang naman natin ng maayos yung mga emerging technologies like AI, like ML, machine learning, and even yung mga blockchain technology, okay sana yan kung gagamitin nga natin ng maayos. But the sad reality is that a lot of people are using these emerging technologies in the wrong way. And these are to collect personal information at ibebenta to, gagamitin pang page sa ibang mga tao na yun nga, scam, maging biktima ng fraud, yung mga tao na napuanan nila personal information. And I mentioned in that conference, na sabi ko, I think the main question in using nga itong mga AI na to is how they could leverage the use of artificial intelligence, even machine learning, to really get to reach yung mga poorest of the poor people natin. Kasi of course, these are people na talagang nasa remote areas, at hindi pa lang nila alam siguro yung tinatawag na computer, yung mga ganyan. But then, we require them to, yun na, sa bangko man lang, pagka nag-open siya ng bank account, kailangan mag-provide ng ID. Pero ni isang ID, mawawala itong mga tao to. So, doon pwede makatulong yung AI, di ba? Yung artificial intelligence, makilala sila na pag nakuhanan sila ng picture, yun, uy, si Robert Padilla pala to, no? Or si Oscar Oganisa pala to, yung mga ganyan. So, if we really make use of this artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies in the proper way, in the right way, this could really help us in reaching out to our fellow Filipinos and to make life easier for us in the field of information and communications technology. Ingatan nga lang po natin yung paggamit po nito kasi nga, baka po sa balik pamamaraan na natin ginagamit. Ito pong mga emerging technologies. So, my only concern is how really people, especially so-called hackers, are really making use of these emerging technologies to defraud people and to scam people.
Ayun. So, narinig niyo po yung ginagamit natin ngayon, yung AI. No? So, hopefully, magamit nga natin ito ng tama. No? Ngayon kasi, like sinabi ni Sir Robert, medyo nalilis tayo sa mali. But definitely, the government, especially the CICC, is utilizing AI in a much greater aspect. No? So, yeah, I think that concludes our first episode together with Sir Robert. No? It's getting late na rin. So, thank you very much, Sir Robert, for that wonderful discussion. Hoping someday that hindi lang kayo makasama ko, baka si Colonel makasama natin, di ba? Kasama rin tatlo. Any last message to our viewers before we end this?
Yeah, again, let me just reiterate to all our viewers, the Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center is here to help you, to assist you kung maging biktima mo kayo ng cybercrimes, ng mga scams, ng mga fraud, like sa GCash, sa ating mga Facebook accounts or social media accounts. Huwag po kayong matakot na mag-report po sa CICC. Again, our hotline number is 1826. May makakausap po kayong mga tao dyan, mga agents po na tinatawag namin. At matutulungan po nila kayo in how to navigate para po maiwasan po natin po yung cybercrimes na yan. Or kung naging biktima na nga po, paano po tayo makarecover po sa mga cybercrimes. You could also report those cybercrimes sa ating email address na report@cicc.gov.ph. The main concern po kasi kung minsan not only by CICC but also law enforcement authorities is that pag naging biktima tayo, nahihiya tayo mag-report. Wag po. Let's empower ourselves. Mag-report po tayo sa CICC, mag-report tayo sa PNP, Anti-Cybercrime Group, NBI, Anti-Cybercrime Division. Pero yun nga po, for magandang koordinasyon, sa amin po muna kayo mag-report sa CICC and then we'll be the one to assist you sa kung ipapatuman natin sa PNP or sa NBI or other concerned agencies. So again, CICC is here to help. Huwag po kayong bahiyang lumapit po sa CICC. And on that note, thank you very much, Oscar, for this wonderful opportunity to be your guest in your pilot episode.
Yun. So, thank you very much, Sir Robert. No? Napakarami namin natutunan about CICC and ICC. Again, that's Sir Robert of ICC. CICC, he is the division chief. No? So, looking forward to have you again, sir, here at YouTube channel, Tech Tribe. So, thank you very much, sir, and I'm hoping to see you again soon.
Bye-bye.